LinkedIn is still a newer platform. What about the platform is interesting?
One interesting thing is that you can repost someone else's post. Your company page gets all the attention and the limelight. You also get so many visitors on your page after the repost.
So how is ChatGPT affected, say, the amount of content that you see?
I think it really lacks that emotional element. So when it comes to technical topics, of course, ChatGPT is the way. But when you talk of storytelling, I don't think so. ChatGPT can ever do that.
Why is it important for someone to have a personal brand?
Nikhil Kamath is able to pull off his podcast so well because he had built his personal brand. So I think once you have a social media presence and you use it to your full, it really creates a big resonance factor with your audience and they start following whatever you do.
What has been your favorite learnings from some amazing women?
One of the learnings I got from the CEO of Geo Studios and YFLO meeting, Jyoti Deshpande, that I don't think so I will be powerful if I cannot use it to impact other people's life and to help them grow on their journeys.
3 words that best describe you.
Confidence, grace, perseverance.
Superpower that you could have and why?
To live someone's life that I aspire to live.
Hi Radhika, such a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks Divya for having me. Very excited to be doing this.
So let's start with, what is your favorite question that you would ask someone who comes for your show?
Yeah, I asked them something on success because all of them are successful people and that's why probably they are on the show. I asked them that what was the cost of the success that you've paid? Because it doesn't come easy. You have to sacrifice something.
Absolutely.
No pain, no gain.
Absolutely.
And the answers that I get for one question, it's so varied that it's absolutely amazing to see how some people say that I've given up my time, I've given up my family, I've given up my husband.
Oh my God. So what has been the cost for your success?
I think it's again sacrificing family because when I was moving out from Bajoria, where I came from.
What age did you leave this small town?
It was at the age of 15.
Okay.
And because I was that young, my parents said that if you're moving out, we will also move out. Otherwise, it's not happening. And there was no chance of them moving out since the business was in Bajoria.
Okay.
My mom, thankfully, she was a very strong-headed woman. She said that even if they learn good things in Bajoria, they can't execute it because there are no good work opportunities. So she shifted with me and my sister to Nasik. And that's where we did 11th and 12th. And after that, there was a call again that why do you have to go to Bombay? You can do your undergrad in Nasik as well. But I said, no, this time I'm not listening to anyone. I did hurt them. I did upset them. But today, I wrote a post on this recently, though, that, how they're so proud of me going out independently in Bombay. I came here at the age of 17. And of course, I had very tough years initially. I didn't know what to do. But thankfully, after college, I got a good mentor because I started working in a law firm, being a non-lawyer. And that only happened through LinkedIn because I was writing continuously. People saw my content and they started offering me work opportunities. And what you sacrifice in the past really helps you gain in future is what I've learned from my experience.
I love that. And it's gratifying to know that your mom supported you.
Yeah.
And she was with you through this journey. You started at 17 or at 18 with your career trajectory. And what exactly did you start doing, or what were your aspirations at that point of time?
I had zero aspirations in my career life, and usually when you see other people around doing so great, that's when you realize that okay, there is seriously something wrong with your life. You need to get up and buckle up, because if you don't, then you're going to really lose out on some of the things that other people are taking advantage of. And I used to like one of my friends, and he told me that we can only be friends if you have this.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
And what is this?
He's like, you need to first be like someone who is thinking like a CEO, if not is a CEO.
Okay.
Choose your niche, pick up something that you're good at and start doing that every single day without forgetting it.
Got it.
I'm like, what do? I don't know anything. I'm just like 18. Right. He said, start writing on LinkedIn. And he was already a very good writer on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And he guided me as to how should I start. But I'm a very stubborn person at heart. I don't do something unless I am convinced fully So it took me 3 months of self-conviction to say that, okay, LinkedIn can be a platform to start writing. And my first post was on some philosophical shit, because जब भी कुछ आता नहीं, then everyone knows how to give
ज्ञान. You talk about उसने ये बोला था, these guys said, and let's just talk about these things.
My post was something about sun, moon and stars, some very, very abstract thing, and it just got 3 likes. I was very disheartened. My friend was like, at least 3 people have liked that, which was not even worthy of being liked by even one person. Yeah, so he's like, now just see how can you multiply this 3 into 30 into 300, then 3,000, 30,000, 3 lakh. Then I thought to myself that, okay, everything won't come to me so easily. This 3 likes have come, it's good, but I need to choose my niche now. So I really started reading newspapers. I was not an avid writer or reader at all. People think that I've been writing since childhood because I'm good at writing on LinkedIn, but that's not true at all. I just started writing when I started LinkedIn.
Okay.
So that's how it started. And because I was reading newspapers, I was a marketing student. I was thinking that finance ki news, why is it so complicated? Why are journalists using such jargons? Why can't they just simplify, break it down, and just present it well
and
for
make
people?
It consumable.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that we as humans have same cranial capacity. So if I'm not understanding, there might be at least 100 people who are not understanding the same news.
Fantastic.
So that's how I started writing it down, very simplistic way on LinkedIn. And that's how it started gaining traction. That's how my career started on LinkedIn. And I don't think so, if LinkedIn wouldn't have been there, I would even have a career for myself, because whatever came after that was only through LinkedIn.
How many years have you been writing on LinkedIn?
Yeah, it's been about 5 years now.
5 years. And how many followers do you have?
I don't look at the number because that doesn't drive me, but as far as I saw last, it was about 2.2 lakh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So 5 years, 2.5 lakh people. So tell me about the platform. Like, what about the platform is interesting?
Yeah.
And what has worked for you and what hasn't?
One interesting thing is that you can repost someone else's post, which is not there on Instagram.
Okay.
And when you do that, if, for example, I repost your post, it will be seen with 2 lakh people that I have as an audience. Okay. So I don't need to specifically write about someone or comment on it. If I just repost, it can be seen by so many people at one go. And the engagement level is the same. Right. So, and it's, by the way, the engagement is coming on your post, not my post that I've reposted, because I've done it without writing anything. So your page, your company page gets all the attention and the limelight. People get, you also get so many visitors on your page after the repost. So that's a very good feature that I love about LinkedIn.
And that is not there in any of the other social media platforms.
Yeah, exactly. On Instagram, we don't have. But Instagram has the collab feature, which LinkedIn hasn't.
Now, which is pretty more,
more
recent, right?
Correct. But collab is, again, like, you cannot collab with a fan that you are fond of. But on LinkedIn, you can repost their post.
Perfect. So I guess it's still more organic in terms of the kind of reach.
And one more good thing about that is, yesterday only I was reading about this, that on Instagram you might really get good amount of views after boosting it, but on LinkedIn, firstly, the price is very high and it's not justified in terms of the views you get. If you do influencer marketing, on the other hand, for example, if you're paying 30,000 to boost a post, if you just use that money to, tell influencers to promote it, you will get much more number of views and also conversions that you're expecting out of that, because it's a person's credibility that's rubbing off on your brand since they are talking about it. It'll just be like, okay, LinkedIn sponsored your company, which is of no use.
Right.
So that's how the game is very different on LinkedIn, and that's how it is very good. And LinkedIn is more B2B. Like on Instagram, you see an influencer promoting 10 brands in 1 month. On LinkedIn, you will only see an influencer promoting 2-3 brands. So that way, brand loyalty also remains very static on LinkedIn.
So you have been able to use LinkedIn to create a personal brand for itself, for yourself. And you said that you did that by simplifying financial content.
Yeah.
So you kind of choose a niche and you stick to it, or what are the tips and tricks of?
That's very true, because initially when I was exploring, I didn't get traction because people were like, what is she really about? Why should we follow her firstly? Why should we give her time? And then when I chose this niche and consistently stuck to it, and by consistency, I don't mean just 1-2 weeks. It's just like 1,000 days at least. There's a book which says that if you don't give a thing 1,000 days, you are not going to succeed at it.
Wow. So there goes 21-day habit.
Yeah.
And 40-day.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, Radhika's like, in today's day and age, give me 1,000 days or
Yeah.
don't give me time at all.
Exactly. It's just that even in 21 days you do it, it's the short-term fame you get. How do you really sustain it for a period like 5 years?
Right.
It's only when you do it every single day and show up no matter what. So I think that has really paid off for me. And when I got the Top Voices batch, I asked the managing editor that why did you put me in the list? I was the youngest there at age 21.
Wow.
And everybody else was either a CEO of a company or a founder with good funding metrics.
Right.
He just said that the quality content which you write with consistency, it's just not seen today
Right.
at an age like this that you are doing it. And that was the only reason that we wanted to show that, okay, if she's doing at a young age, even others can. And it doesn't take a rocket science related content for you to get there. It's just any simple content and you can reach.
So, I mean, I'm going to talk about this now is, now ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, hey, वो ChatGPT को बोल दो वो लिख देगा.
हाँ.
So, like, and we're talking about quality content. So, how has that affected, say, the amount of content that you see available on platforms?
Yeah, it's increased and it's good in a way because even ChatGPT is getting advantage because all users are, and even LinkedIn is happy that, okay, more creators are putting content on our page. But I think it really lacks that emotional element. For example, if I were to write your story and talk about certain setbacks that you faced, now if I tell the same prompt to ChatGPT, it will give me a very technical answer with all jazzy, stylish words.
Like the philosophical
exactly.
post that you had put up first. Right?
Yeah, so my principle of simplification really gets destroyed with ChatGPT because it can't write simply. And you have to really understand a human to write about humans. So when it comes to technical topics, of course, ChatGPT is the way to go. And that's why you see more of that coming in on LinkedIn. But when you talk of storytelling, I don't think so. ChatGPT can ever do that.
You've done this for yourself and you also help companies and founders do this. Would you like to talk about that in actually helping them build their personal profile?
Yeah, it's quite funny that when I was taking one of the interviews, someone asked me, what do I do? And I told them that I do shadow writing. She's like, what does that mean? I'm like, you write for other people's profile. She's like, on which platform? I said, LinkedIn. And then she's like, ye bhi hota hai kya? I didn't even know about it. And she's been an investor for 10 years.
Like, let's describe this a little bit more. What is ghostwriting and what exactly does this entail?
My mentor told me not to call it as a ghostwriting.
Absolutely.
Because ghost
I
is
think
like
it's personal branding.
Yeah.
Right? Or building a personal brand is more akin to what
Yeah,
what
so it's
doing.
all about understanding someone else, having the factor of empathy, because if you lack that, you are not even going to have one client in your life for this business. So that is one important characteristic that is needed for you to get started. And the other one is writing. How good are you at presenting what other people are thinking about and not just what you want to write? So only if these two things are in place, you can start ghostwriting anytime and anywhere. So it's just that easy. And of course, the business is such that the margins that you get in this are very huge. It can range up to 90% of margin to 95% as well. For example, if you're charging 10,000 to a client for a post, I don't know after this how many clients will come to me knowing that.
I mean, that's not the real price, guys.
Knowing that this, forget about clients, writers will be like, why are you paying us so less when clients are paying you so more? But yeah, for example, hypothetically,
guys,
it's not true. So if you're paying me 10,000, the writer will only charge me 1,000 rupees, and whatever there is in middle, we use it internally.
A lot of our viewers are women founders, or people who might want to create their own personal brand. Why is it important for someone to have a personal brand?
I'll just give you an example. Like Nikhil Kamath is able to pull off his podcast so well because he had built his personal brand. And that was not because he was a billionaire, but also because he was so active on social media and talking about it. I mean, today you have so many other billionaires also, but they do not project themselves. So the audience won't relate to it whenever they start a podcast show or something of their own. So I think once you have a social media presence, and you use it to your full potential basis the business that you have, it really creates a big resonance factor with your audience, and they start following whatever you do. So even if like today Kunal Shah, he's launching businesses left, right, center, which is not even concerned with or credit card business that he has. And he's only be able to do that because he has a personal brand today. I'll give you an example of Devata Saraf. I don't know if you know of her. She's she runs View Televisions, and she told me this very nice thing that why can't you be the face of your own brand? Why do you need someone else?
Yes.
And when you can do that, you will not only get a business for the business, but you will get business for your own self.
Absolutely.
And that in itself is a glory to achieve. She got awarded by Forbes as one of the first model CEOs of the world, because nobody else was modeling for their own brand. So when you do such unconventional activities, it just resonates with people and people love it.
So tell me, as a podcaster, you have been talking to some amazing women. What has been your favorite learnings from them?
Yeah, one of the learnings I got was from the CEO of Jio Studios and Viacom meeting, Jyoti Deshpande, who also works closely with Mukesh Ambani. So I asked her, what's your definition of power? Because she was recognized as one of the most powerful businesswomen in India just last year. And she told me that I don't think so. I will be powerful if I cannot use it to impact other people's life and to help them grow on their journeys. That was something that really stood, with me, because I thought that being powerful is about having fame, being very good at your work, and just having a name for yourself. But she really busted that myth for me, and she was like, no, it's about taking your people along.
I agree. I think it's hard to grow if you don't have a team that's going to help you take you to the next level. And you're obviously helping a lot of women entrepreneurs to the next level by helping them raise funding through your company, Radically Yours. Would you like to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there is a story behind this. I was working with the law firm, and one of the founders approached the partner, said that we are looking to raise funds, can you guys help? Then my partner, who's also my mentor in the law firm, he told me that you have such a good network on LinkedIn, why don't you use it for this guy and make him connect to Silicon Valley investors? I'm like, I'm not even from VC. Like, why would people reply to me? And much to my surprise, when I wrote to people, they were like, yeah, we would love to connect with this founder. Why don't you connect us over email? And when I did that, the founder was so happy because he was looking for genuine feedback from international players, which he even couldn't get it through his own investment banker because he could only get him connected to domestic players. And then I was like, okay, I didn't know the flywheel effect a network and a community can have.
Fantastic.
So that's how it started. And then when I saw women pitching to me, they were so nervous. I just saw the pattern. I discussed with people also, and that's why this show has also come about, to validate my theory that do women entrepreneurs really pitch very conservatively than male co-founders, because men founders are like, I have this 10-year vision, this is how my projections are looking like. The investor will get excited, whereas a woman will be like, okay, this is what I'm doing currently, it's really good, I don't know how next years are going to look like, but I'm quite positive. So in that, the comfort really doesn't come to the investor.
They're used to bigger numbers.
Exactly. So that's when I realized that there is a gap to solve in the market. Let me start with a show where voices of successful investors and founders are heard for these early stage women entrepreneurs, and I can also use that relationship for with them to help these women entrepreneurs get funding. So that's how the podcast show and the funding part started. It's all about using a network as a product and leveraging it in different ways.
I love that. So you have a real hustler who started at 17, made the LinkedIn presence, not just made that into a podcast, but now actually helping women founders to raise funds.
Yes.
And do you also work with them to mentor them or counsel them how to pitch better?
Yeah, we are actually starting with our mentorship program very soon. We want to collaborate with organizations like IFC, so we're in talks with them to see how they can actually help someone who is very smart from rural India who wants to specially work with them. How can these two people get connected? Because I feel that even women in metropolitan cities are very well connected today, but I think impact will only be created when I actually get someone from Haryana who's very smart and sharp to work with someone in Goldman Sachs, So how do I connect them both? I think that
Fantastic.
will be something really impactful, but we are yet to work on it. I just wanted to build my community before I launch it so that we have quality applicants and we don't waste the time of our mentors. So yeah, that's about to come. So keep an eye out on that.
I look forward to that. What would your message be for young girls who want to follow your footsteps? What should they be doing, and what would your message be for them?
Yeah, my first message would be like, don't follow my footsteps. Create your own footprints, because whenever you try to follow someone, you might be distracted or you might get off the path, because that's not what your path is. So firstly, identify what you love doing. And the most difficult thing in life to do is to identify your purpose, especially when you're in your 20s, early 20s. Unless you have some channelization, it could come from within also, not necessarily that you have to have someone, but getting it from within at a younger age is relatively tougher because you think that the world is your oyster and you have everything your way.
So tell me again, like, you've spoken about getting mentors, and I think that's something a lot of people struggle with, is how do you get a mentor, right? How do you identify a mentor, and how do you approach them? Just brass tacks, like how do you get upon getting yourself or what did you do to get yourself your mentors?
You have to just tell to your subconscious mind that, okay, I need some guidance, and the guidance will automatically come your way.
Be at Because she can always just want to encourage women, and especially bright young girls like you. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I don't even know what I'll do in 5 days. It's so difficult to envisage anything in this unpredictable competitive environment these days. But I just have one very clear purpose, that whatever I do, I should be known for that, because like I told you, personal brand is very important.
Absolutely.
So that is my only goal, that whatever I do, I need to be the best version of myself. And my only goal in life will be to never stop learning, because I don't think so you are ever successful after getting success. So 5 years is a journey. Next 5 years will also be a journey. I don't see any destination for myself.
And Radhika, I know you started with this, but I would love for you to build on what does because she can mean for you.
Yeah, I think it really is a very strong positive statement, because for us, I think we are very privileged because we've gotten everything. And but people in very rural India and other parts of the town in the world, they really don't even get the opportunity to speak, forget about convincing someone. And when you tell them something like this statement, that because she can, you can also, they're just like, okay, we are going to take over the world now. One of the important things is peer group support. You really get so much of confidence, and your show Because She Can is also about peer group. So I think when you have that, your foundations in your mind just gets vanished. And I think you are only limiting yourself because of your mind, not because of somebody else. And when statements like these are said, people are just like, okay, now I'll go all out.
Thank you so much, Radhika, and thank you for sharing your journey also about personal branding and being so frank about ghostwriting and personal branding. And really, I think I'd love to encourage all women founders, anyone looking to establish themselves, to reach out, talk to Radhika. She has very, very graciously offered to help us and other women vendors and the men out there. We're not being we're not discriminating against
Business
you.
doesn't discriminate.
Business doesn't discriminate. But reach out, understand what is personal branding, especially on LinkedIn. If you're not there, you need to be there. And Stuti will, of course, lead the next segment.
Radhika, I've been listening from behind, and you're so inspiring. And I have a few questions. But first things first, I'm a podcast host, and so are you. And I'm very scared of being on the other side of the chair. So how does it feel for you to be here today, being the one answering the questions instead of asking them?
It feels damn good, because I always wanted this for myself. So whenever I am called for interviews, it's like the best moment.
You love it.
So if you ask me which one will I prefer, it will be this side of the table. Yeah.
Okay. But I totally connect with you on the curiosity angle.
Yes.
One of the reasons I love podcasting is because I want to ask those questions.
Yeah.
And otherwise, ऐसे जाके लोगों से पूछोगे तो they'll think you're mad.
Correct.
On the street. But also, Radhika, you've achieved so much success at such a young age. And I'm sure you've been not just in India, even in cities and countries abroad, where you've been in rooms filled with probably influential people double your age.
Yeah.
So were there ever any instances where people made you feel like tum to bahut choti ho, ye nahi karogi? And how did you overcome that?
Yeah, like my closed ones have this expectation of me because they've seen me grow. So they still think that I'm a kid for them. So whenever I go out, they're like, don't be servile, don't get too pleased by the glamour you see or the position of someone. Because I used to get this feedback, and I'm being very candid, that when you speak to someone, you speak as if you're in awe of them. You don't speak to them as an equal.
Yes.
So I really thought that, okay, this is something I have to work upon, because I am no longer that 18-year-old who started writing on LinkedIn and got fame. I have reached 24 now, and there's a certain way in which I will have to conduct myself. So yeah, that is what I've been doing. And
you have those 6 years to prove your success and the things you've done.
Yeah.
So ever had any guest where you were like filled with self-doubt that how will I interview this person? And how did you overcome that?
I have it every time before any major guest, and it's a very good question. Nobody has ever asked me that, because everybody will like, okay, you must have felt good, but nobody asked behind the curtains ki kya hua.
I understand you. The butterflies before someone you really look up to.
Exactly.
So Radhika, a little bit on the personal front. You're so young, you wear so many different hats, an investor, an entrepreneur, a podcast host. But sometimes we get caught up in this rat race. So what do you do to preserve your mental well-being?
I suffer through it every day. It's not very easy. And there is a term called founder's depression. When I heard about it, I was like, really, people do even go through this? But when I started my journey as an entrepreneur, being the only founder, I realized what it means. And it is actually a very lonely journey. You will have to spend time alone in the room thinking. You won't have a team around you to talk to, because they will either be working virtually with you, or they won't be available for you at 3 a.m. 4 a.m. in the night when you're getting such thoughts. So it's very, very important to be extremely strong from within and have a thick skin that nothing can shake you up. So I think when you see ahead in time of what you're doing currently, that's when you realize that this stress is not worth taking, or this pressure is not worth living. So that's how I overcome it, because I feel that will it even matter to me after 1 week or after a year? If the answer is no, I just don't think about it. But if the answer is yes, I try to think a lot about it so that I fully internalize it and flush it out of my system.
So I absolutely, truly live by it. So I understand the importance of it. So how does Radhika unwind? What are your hobbies? What do you do in your downtime?
Actually, I don't have too many hobbies, because I think that hobbies after a certain point in time starts distracting you. But you can, of course, come back to it. It's like sacrificing something to gain something else. Like, for example, you, of course, love your family, but if you have to make a career for yourself, you'll have to move away from them. And once you're settled, of course, you can go back to them. So I think hobbies are also like that. I am really fond of dancing, and I used to do classical singing, playing harmonium. But I left that long back because I wanted to build something on LinkedIn, and I was quite focused on doing that. So I stopped that, but now I just resumed dancing again. So you'll see more of my videos there.
Oh, nice. What kind of dancing do you do?
I like Bollywood. Others are too, I mean, you require a lot of flexibility to do it, but I'm not that flexible.
Radhika, we have on the Because She Can podcast, there's always fun in the house. So we have a few short fun segments with you.
Thank God, because the questions you asked were so heavy that it took me back to my zone of like mental health.
Okay, so rapid fire round, very rapid short answers. So, a superpower that you could have and why?
To live someone's life that I aspire to live. For example, if I want to know how Indra Nui grew
Okay.
up, I would go back
Yes.
in time and live her years of struggle and see how she grew.
3 words that best describe you.
Confidence, grace, perseverance.
Lovely. So, this is a question we love asking on our podcast. Your favorite book and what and why? What was the lesson that stuck
Yeah.
by you?
This is more on the professional side. It's a book by David Meister. He wrote on how to manage a professional services firm.
To end it, because you're the personal branding guru, and I know you'll be very good at this, I'm going to give you one word, and you have to tell me what is the first synonym that comes to your mind for that. So I want to start with voice for obvious reasons.
Influence.
Amazing. Success.
Time.
Confidence.
How do I say it? What's the word for it? Internal.
Lovely. Dream.
Dream. Dream is a dream. It's not the reality.
I like that. And the last one for you, empowerment.
Strong.
Nice.
Powerful.
Like you. Powerful and strong like Radhika. Thank you so much for taking out your time, Radhika, and being on the Because She Can podcast. It's been a supercharged, super amazing conversation. Thank you for coming, Radhika, and showing the other side of you on the Because She Can podcast.
No, loved it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.